Hello everyone, welcome to BeeTV, coming to you live from Nottingham Hockey Centre. It's Beeston versus Holcombe in the men's Premier Division of hockey here in England. If you were watching last week, you'll be pleased to see that it's somewhat lighter than it was a week ago here at the same ground. Conditions pretty good but blustery for this match in the Premier Division. Two teams very close to each other in the league table, so it's definitely points and pride at stake today. I'm Andy Day. Sitting beside me is Steve Musson. Happy New Year, Steve.
Yeah, good afternoon, Andy. Nice to see you.
What are you looking forward to today in this game? Who should we be looking for?
Well, I think the obvious first battle that's going to be out there is we've got the current and the previous Great Britain captains playing against each other. So there's nothing. That's an extremely fascinating part of the game. I think from Holcombe's point of view, there's a lot of confidence at the moment, having done well in the indoor, playing in the final, and they got a win against Brooklands last week, so where Beeston didn't play. So I think they're off to a confident start to this part of the season.
Indeed. Mentioning previous games, let's have a look at some games that have already completed and some that are going on in a very, very busy competition this afternoon and today and tomorrow for the women and the men. Just bringing up those details.
Back to England and our first match in the Investec Women's Premier Division.
Facts and figures. So we've got a huge volume of games this afternoon. We have gone a bit dark for a moment, but there we go. So Surbiton topping the table for the men with 37 points. Hampstead and Westminster in second place, Wimbledon in third with 27, Old Georgians game behind but with 24 points. Today's visitors Holcombe in fifth and Beeston in sixth. 2 points separates these two sides, so a win for Beeston would see them climb over Holcombe. A win for either team could put them both on the path to potentially gate crashing the top four.
I think that's going to be a tall order, but nevertheless, Old Georgians have got a difficult weekend. 2 hard games for them to play, and I think Beeston Holcombe games are always pretty close, or have been, and it'd be interesting to see how this one pans out today.
Okay, you can see that earlier on today, Brooklands 2, Exeter University 3, big result there at the bottom of the table, doesn't put Reading in a good position, and the result, there's now complete Hampstead and Westminster 5, Reading 0, does not bode well for Reading at all. Quickly, if we can point towards the games in the women's competition, because we've got women's games today, that should lead us nicely into the highlights in a moment or two. Holcombe 1, Hampstead and Westminster 4, and Buckingham 2, Surbiton 5. Surbiton still going great guns at the top. Hampstead and Westminster hanging onto the coattails. East Grinstead comfortably in third, and it's a foot race for the final and fourth position. Who do you see is the favourite to take that?
Well, I don't know if that is the answer at the moment. I think there's still a bit to go. Plenty of games in the season for them to participate in. I mean, again, it just interests me how dominant Surbiton have become in both men's and women's hockey.
Okie doke. So, mentioning the women's games and plenty of action, let's look back to last week in a very blustery and wet Nottingham Hockey Centre. And this was the action when Beeston met Clifton Robinsons.
Back to England and our first match in the Investec Women's Premier Division that survived Storm Dennis was Beeston against Clifton Robinsons. The home side needed the points to avoid being sucked into relegation worries, whilst for the visitors a win would keep them in touch with the top 4. Let's join BeeTV and Andy Day for this one.
It was a trip to Bowdon Hightown for the match that was postponed on the 30th of November. It was a close one as they're looking to attack. Could this be a shot on goal? And it is! Beeston have taken the lead. Out of nothing, Alice Huddleston has given the Bees the lead. Nice turn and then played beyond the goalkeeper for a Beeston goal. Sideline ball. Trying to force their way through a number of white shirts, and they're into the circle again. Beeston here, played in for 2! Fantastic stuff from Beeston, straight out of the blocks. Nice close control into the circle and played low and hard. Clifton Robinsons will have it from here. Fired in, it's loose in the circle. And it's a goal for Clifton Robinsons. Took a few bumps and Cochrane is beaten from a shot, I think, in the air. Let's have another look at that. You can see the confidence really coming back into Clifton Robinson's players. Are in the circle again. That's fired towards goal, long corner. From a very successful position last time. What can they do from here? Forward they go. Loose in the circle. Scrambling defence from the home side. It's still not truly away. Aerial ball from the side. Myrie Drummond penalised. Now this could work very nicely for Clifton Robinson's shot towards goal, and that's wide of the upright, presented with the opportunity. Visitors giving possession away here. Could this be an opportunity for a third? Fired in towards goal. Goalkeeper does well and blocks with a left foot. Crunch ball out of defence. Taken very, very nicely in goal by Lauren Burrell. Her pass, though, is finally through to a Beeston player in the circle. Goalkeeper comes out. Davissa does very well to block the ball. Surely set the dial to power. Let's see what happens here. Pops up. It's loose. Can this be converted into a shot towards goal? It's through. And a couple of sticks wide of the goal. We're off and running again. What can the visitors do from this? Low and then away from goal. Important touch. Now is the indication there. A long corner. No, that is it. It is all over. A victory for Beeston in their match today in incredible conditions. Well played to both sides, I must say. Conditions were atrocious. Returning back to live pictures here at Nottingham Hockey Centre. The teams are just getting ready for walkout. Just to let you into a new feature of BeeTV, over by the two benches we have Josh Robinson. He's going to keep a close eye for us on goings on. If we can't see something, he's going to let us know what's going on over there. So we're going to get the benefit from a view from someone over the far side. Maybe we can see him. The two teams are currently doing their warm-up and completing, and will be set and ready to go. The time, according to my watch, is 2.5 minutes to 2, so the teams should be off and ready to go. Today's match umpires, Mark Everard and Dan Barstow. They're just getting their final preparations underway as well. So we look at the two Great Britain captains.
Yes.
We've got the fascinating other results and games we've got today. I think we're set for a very, very good game.
I think so, yeah. I think these the fixture between Beeston and Holcombe has become a real battle. And I know that from Beeston's point of view, having not been able to play last weekend against Old Georgians because of Storm Dennis, they're raring to go. So a few injuries in the Beeston camp at the moment, which they've had to deal with. Gareth Griffiths is out with a hamstring injury. Carl Marshall similarly. So there's a couple of guys missing from Beeston at the moment.
Indeed, you were saying about with the EDP, Nick Park.
And Nick Park, he's with the EDP, yes. So thankfully not injured, but playing elsewhere.
Quickly running you through the match day 16s. The cross next to the players' names mean that they will start. Rolling substitutions as ever, so all 16 players will feature. Starting for Beeston, Simon Hujwan in goal, Ollie Willars, Robbie Gleeson, Henry Croft, Joe Sharp, captain Adam Dixon, Stephen Lawrence, Richard Lawrence, Toby Stanley, Chris Proctor and Morgan Males. For Holcombe, goalkeeper is Richard Curtis, Mark Leghorn, Jeremy Edwards, Tom Moore, Ali Bray is the captain, Hayden Phillips, Alex Moen, Harry Trusler, Barry Middleton, Jack Pogson and Tom O'Keefe. So those are your match day 16s. All players will feature. Beeston looking like they're playing in white shirts today.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's a tactical choice for them, colour-wise, seeing as they did well last time they played in white. So,
right. So it's purely a nice little bit of superstition coming into play
yes,
today.
A couple of former Beeston players at Holcombe. Obviously Mark Leghorn was here for 3 seasons, and going back a bit further than that, Harry Trusler, former Beeston player. So nice to see them back here.
So the teams are almost ready and set to go. I'll start my other job in a couple of seconds as the teams walk out. So we've met the teams. No surprises there. You would sight there of Holcombe in their red shirts. They'll be attacking the car park end and defending the boulevard. And Beeston in their white shirts today will be attacking the boulevard end as the final instructions are being passed to the teams. What one thing would you be saying as a Holcombe coach today? What would you be telling your team?
Well, I think because they've got such experience in their side, they can afford to actually make sure that possession is a big feature for them. Obviously, with Barry Middleton very low on the turnovers, they've got Ali Bray, who again such a level of experience there, and of course with the dangers of Nick Banderak and Mark Leghorn, they're quite a formidable setup, really. I think from Beeston's point of view, because it's a young developing side, it's still taking them a bit of time to see whether they can be consistent, but if they can get it right, they can be very threatening. A lot of pace and a lot of energy in the Beeston youngsters.
So the delicate arm is in the air and we are off and underway. Holcombe get the ball rolling literally here at Nottingham Hockey Centre in Premier Division action in England. Beeston versus Holcombe. 4 quarters of 17.5 minutes. And I suspect it's going to be a close game looking at previous results earlier this season. It was a 2-2 draw. Beeston last season won 1-0 in this corresponding fixture. They also won the away fixture by by 3-2. So these are close affairs.
Yeah, they have always been close fixtures. I think the nature of hockey is such that you can get a situation where if a side gets ahead.
Just breaking off here, waiting to see what happens here. It's in a difficult position. And it's been still kept in play and finally put out of play by Holcombe. It's a bright start from the visitors.
Yes, you can see situations where teams can get ahead and get on a bit of a roll. It's happened once today with Hampstead Reading. So I think both teams in the early stages will be looking for good possession.
In fact, that's a nice ball. It's been knocked out of play. Umpire indicates a long corner. Robbie Gleeson, number 6, with his... It is slightly easier to see the black numbers on the white shirts.
It is.
That's a bonus for us, not necessarily for you at home, but that's definitely a massive bonus for us.
Nice to see Stephen Lawrence with all of his experience playing for Beeston on the ball now. High
Indeed.
300s in numbers of league games played. So.
Indeed, he's had a little spell out of the team, but he's back. He played in the match against City of Peterborough in the Cup, and he's now back into the league side as well. Just coming off Nick Banderak.
Yes, I think we talked about Holcombe's experience levels. There's 1 or 2 guys in the Beeston setup. Obviously, Adam Dixon speaks himself. Stephen Lawrence is another one. Robbie Gleeson's becoming that sort of an experienced player now, and Chris Proctor settling. So these are dangerous players for Beeston, I think. And of course, Ollie Willar's on the ball there.
Tries to go the long way around. That's a nice pass, and that's opening things up here. With it, Robbie Gleeson spreads the ball forward. It's just beyond the despairing dive of a Beeston forward, so it's all out of play. I'm just acutely aware that my match information may not be accurate, so I may have to do a little bit of tidying up when we get to quarter time.
You see 2 Beeston forwards there. The ball played nicely through. It was a nice release from the back. So important for forwards to get on the ball, make sure they retain it.
Being kept in at the baseline. Penalty corner, first penalty corner of the day.
Yeah, I think Robbie Gleeson's a bit surprised there. I think he thinks that was a Holcombe foot, but no doubt in Dan Barstow's mind.
So my assumption here, it was deliberately played behind, but we'll see that for sure. Very quickly taken free hit. Space opening up on the right-hand side. Bit of loose play. Kept in at the baseline.
Yeah.
Now, was that a foot? Or was
I think so. I think Robbie Gleeson's picked the ball up. It's sort of gone a little bit loose for Holcombe in that tight area, and then I think he's put it on Stephen Lawrence's foot. So dangerous moments, because obviously at the start of the game, Mark Leghorn's on the pitch.
Indeed.
And he's scored many times here for Beeston, so...
He knows where the goal is. Well, looking at the candidates for penalty corners for the away side, Nick Banderak and Mark Leghorn have converted 3 each for the season. So those are the 2 to look for. You know, you're looking for number 7 and number 23 in the red shirt. So you can see Mark Leghorn and Banderak just outside the circle. Very potent. It's going to be Leghorn. It's been pushed away.
That was nicely run down. I think that might have been a stick stop there, but it's always good to get those under your belt.
Indeed, it seemed to flash away because the white on white for a moment, you can't see where the ball's going. And well defended, extremely well
Very
defended.
well. I mean, who's going to run number 1 against Mark Leghorn's flick? But hockey players never cease to amaze me. There's always somebody prepared to do that. Steady build-up from Holcombe here. I think this is what I thought they might do in the early phases, just try to work up that possession, try and get the domination of the possession of the ball.
Nice interception in the middle of the field and played forward, and things can open up here quickly. Into the circle, a bit of a stumble, but play carries on. Goalkeeper comes out, and it's into the goal.
Excellent
Toby
follow-up.
Stanley for Beeston. We've got our first goal in less than 5 completed minutes. Good advantage as well.
Well, I think that's right. I mean, Chris Proctor's is his most dangerous when he receives the ball in these kind of positions, and he's got space to run. It's fallen a little bit well for him just at that point, but then, of course, it's fallen again for Toby Stanley, who's taken his time and put it over the keeper.
Composed finish there. All eyes on Chris Proctor. It was Toby Stanley with a finish, and Beeston have the lead.
Crucial 5 minutes now. Beeston needs to settle and take this possession away from Holcombe as often as they can. Too much space there for the Holcombe player. That was
free hit for Holcombe. They are moving it very quickly in that final quarter of the field. Happy to play it a little bit slower towards the middle of the park. That's kept in, just faded out of play. It came off a Beeston stick, so Holcombe will get the sideline ball.
I noticed that last week's game, Brooklyn scored in the 6th minute. And so obviously no idea at the moment how the game will progress. Beeston have to be very careful, having got that opening goal. Nothing really changes. They've got to be on their game.
Indeed, the moment you switch off is the moment that you're at your most weakest. So if I had my time again, I could probably rephrase that a bit better. But you get the idea.
We understand what you mean. Good ball pace there. That's so important when you play around there. They've managed to do that.
Oh, nice control.
Using just 3 of the guys at the back. Robbie Gleeson a little bit under the pressure from the Holcombe press.
Is this something that would have been prepared for during the week in training, or is this are the players reacting to this now as it's happening to them?
Well, I think that one of the things that they have to do with work through around the back four is if you get a press, you need to get out of it quickly, and if you can do that by
look how quick this has moved forward. By the way, is this going to be kept in play? It's going to be a tight thing. It still is in play, but it's been handed back to Holcombe and turned over for Beeston again in the far corner of the field, right by the corner flag, and this time it is a Holcombe ball.
Yeah, the back four work is key in getting out, and if the quicker you can do it, as Beeston did there by omitting one of the guys and one of the centre backs, good speedy way out. Holcombe looking to do the same here.
The wind has just picked up an awful lot here. Fired in towards the circle, beyond everybody and through the other side.
It can be quite difficult to play on windy days. The communication's more tricky. Cold hands, you know, those sorts of things can interfere with sort of players' individual skills and the team rhythm.
Another forward ball.
Great
down
pick up.
nicely. Indeed.
And another good... Oh, unlucky.
Which, I know it feels like the wind's coming towards us here, which is towards the direction of the camera. Is that right? Are you seeing that the same way?
I think that's right, yes. Yeah.
So it's not favouring either of the teams?
Across the pitch, so I think you'd have to say that was fairly even.
Holcombe in possession, moving it around nicely into the circle. Play on, says the umpire. Looking for a free hit, but Beeston have it.
You can see already Holcombe's style. They've had a lot of possession in the inside right channel and down the right-hand side. So Ollie Willars is going to need to be aware of that, and they're going to make sure that they step into those channels and make it more difficult for Holcombe to interplay down there.
With a blank week for Beeston's men a week ago, would you think it's they're better for having that rest, or would they be in a better position because they've got 2 games this weekend? Or?
Well, I thought long and hard about that. I mean, Old Georgians away was the game that didn't happen. That could have been a tough fixture for Beeston. So they're starting fresh, might be an advantage to some extent. Confidence such an important thing. I mean, Holcombe's confidence from getting started with a win will be there.
There's that shallow lofted ball picked up in the air by Beeston. Through the gears and out towards the right hand side. A lot of support for the Holcombe defence in the middle. Into the circle it goes, flashed across the goal. Very congested, and it's gone out through the other side. And
Lucas Ward doing well there. He's one of those players, the youngsters that I was talking about, who will gradually find his feet, can be very dangerous, very skillful. Involved in 2 phases of that play.
Special word for our camera team, which is Adam Milsom upstairs. He's 2 weeks in a row he's had the best of the weather to endure, so our thoughts are with him upstairs.
Well stepped in there from Stephen Lawrence. He's always good on the vision to see that sort of ball pumped into the D. He's done well there.
This is confident, but still a little, I don't want to say casual, effortless, I think is the word I'm looking for, where possession is being maintained and it doesn't look like it's being worked hard to hang on to it.
I think the bit that's missing is the ball pace. Just a couple of those passes there, not with enough pace on them. So when you've got teams tracking like Holcombe are across the pitch, you've got to make sure the ball pace is quick so that they can't cover the width of the pitch.
I must say this game has moved along at a heck of a pace. We're at nearly 11 minutes completed. It doesn't feel like it at all. It feels more like 3.
Yeah. Good interplay from Holcombe there. They've released that nicely. It's just not quite gone for them higher up the pitch.
So a special word for today's ball patrol, because there aren't ball patrol dotted about.
Nice little build out there. They've found quite a bit of space to push that ball down the flank. Unfortunately, it's been turned over.
Long, yeah, within
Elliot Barton
green
too
card,
close.
actually, that is.
Yeah.
You've not been able to pick that up on the screen. So it looks like Holcombe will have an advantage. And it is Elliot Barton who's picked up the green card.
Yeah, not dropping off enough and obviously interfering with the restart for Holcombe, so he's green carded. You're right about Beeston's back 4 play at the moment. It's been reasonably confident. I think once they get that ball pace up, it'll be okay. A lot of concentration needed, particularly when your opponents are pressing high.
And it's across the goal again.
Henry Croft working hard there.
I must say that Ali Bray let the ball run and run and run back to his own baseline.
Was very nearly fallen for Henry Croft. I don't think he could believe he was that close to it.
It's a game that's not been flooded with chances, but I don't think it will be that sort of game. There'll be plenty of skill, plenty of endeavour,
Yeah.
but I think they'll be short on goal-scoring golden opportunities, but Beeston have been presented with one and taken it.
Yeah, I think 2 sets of good defences really for each team, and I think that makes a big difference. It's not too open in their own 25s at the moment, so steady build-ups happening for both teams.
With it, Mark Leghorn, number 7.
Yeah, playing his now more usual role in defence. Well, as a younger guy, he was more of a forward, but he's settled into these defensive roles quite well.
He picked up a... Let's just break off again. That's into the circle. Can this be fashioned into a shooting opportunity? It's been blocked well.
Simon Hudgwan alert to that, needed to be, because it was a turnover in the D.
Very, very busy corner of the field. How's it going to come out from here? Well, it's flicked off the foot of Martin Robbins. And just to confirm as well, that suspension has been concluded and Beeston are back up to full strength. Elliot Barton's green card is over.
Well, that was an interesting little moment, because that was Henry Croft doing the defensive work in that tight area, heavily pressed, and he's managed to find his way out. And again, Beeston have to try and work their way out of this tight corner.
This is
that's very well done.
Unbelievable, and that's a second prize as well. It's a foot, and it played extremely quickly forward, but taken nicely by Ali Bray, captain of Holcombe, and looking to build. It's like someone's pressed the accelerator on the game. Spaces are starting to open up here, and this is a very swift counter-attack down the right-hand side. Free hit for Holcombe, right-hand side.
Yes, the play out of the back there, excellent from Beeston. Probably a good idea to try and find Chris Proctor, but it didn't quite connect. And of course, from that turnover, the trigger point was Chris not getting it, and we're now back in Beeston's defensive areas. A little bit too deep for my liking for Beeston there.
How confident was that?
Stephen Lawrence again, yes.
Nudged out of play, will be another Beeston sideline ball.
Henry Croft again in a defensive role. He's putting his work in, his work rate in.
Number 23 on your picture, Nick Banderak, has in the last 2 match days, he scored a 2 and a 3.
Dangerous player, very dangerous player. And I think, as we were saying before the game, Andy, one of the reasons for Holcombe's style of play is they've got such a good target man in Nick Banderak.
Leghorn takes the ball over halfway and finds a teammate. Lots of green space, but it's in a place where it can't really hurt Beeston at the moment.
Yeah, Beeston dropped very much into a half-court press where all the team is behind the halfway line, and looks like there's acres of space for Holcombe, but Beeston trying to be very organised and cut out all the gaps.
It's an efficient way of defending your space.
Every now and then you need to just do that. You can't play flat out for the whole 70 minutes of a game. You have to vary your tactics.
Beeston for a hit, big appeal. Play continues onwards. With it, number 18, Barry Middleton, keeping a close eye on him as well. You were reminding us all just how important he was to his side in the indoors.
Definitely. To get to the final and be very close to Surbiton was excellent, and I watched that and thought how in control of things Barry was. Such an economical hockey player, and his career speaks for itself.
Less than 60 seconds until the first break in play. Is this another opportunity? No, it's just behind the forward. Sideline ball.
I think from Holcombe's point of view, they're going to have to watch these longer passes from Beeston, because if they get, there's a couple of times they've fallen not quite right, but close to being an open chance for Beeston. That's a good step in there from Robbie Gleeson.
And then converted into a ball into the circle very quickly indeed.
And no forward in front of the keeper. That would be something that coaches could look at there. If they're going to play that ball in, you need to have players on the penalty spot.
Indeed, mentioning the coaches. In fact, that is the quarter time, and that has flown by, hasn't it?
It has. Interesting game, because obviously both sides have had their possession. I was worried at the start that Holcombe might have a domination over the possession, but Beeston done really well. Key feature for Beeston, the way they've escaped has been very good indeed. So it bodes well so far.
Quickly, here is the match information. Toby Stanley's goal, the difference at the end of the first quarter, coming in open play midway through that first quarter. Have we got time to flash up and have a look at those other goals and games that are going on? As you can see on your screen, Beeston 1, Holcombe 0. Earlier on today, Brooklands 2, Exeter University 3, Hampstead and Westminster 5, Reading 0. Still to come, Wimbledon, East Grinstead and Surbiton Old Georgians.
Exeter doing an excellent job, I think, of two wins on the bounce straight after Christmas. Great start.
Whilst the teams are in the huddle as well, we'll have a look at the position in the women's games as well. Goals galore. Buckingham 2, Surbiton 5, Holcombe 1, Hampstead and Westminster 4, 1-1 Clifton Robinson's Birmingham University, and the game that we're keeping a close eye on here, Beeston's women just down the road at Loughborough Students. They're into the second quarter there and they are still waiting for the first goal. Very, very tight towards the bottom of the table, and all points very important today. So that is the way things stand. Teams are still getting their instructions, and my usual question, what would you be telling Beeston out there?
Well, I think Beeston have had these opportunities where they've fed the long ball forward, and for the Beeston forwards to get on the end of that and keep possession will be an excellent thing for them to do, because I think the way that Holcombe play very wide and split in defence and space there, I think from Holcombe's point of view, they're quite obviously doing their right side attacks, which have resulted in their corner and quite a few plays into the D. Credit to Beeston's back four so far, they've defended well.
So I can say confidently they had slightly more than 2 minutes of quarter-time break, because that piece of music is slightly more than 2 minutes. I know because I edited it.
Your various skills, Andy. There's another opportunity, Stephen Lawrence stepping in.
It's a very quick couple of turnovers in the first 30 seconds.
A little bit slack there, but...
long burst on the whistle, no card indicated. Making sure the ball's in exactly the right spot.
Adam Dixon's taking this more familiar role when playing for Beeston of obviously being a midfield player, but he likes to drop out into the back four just to sort of choreograph a few of the plays. You can see him pointing, explaining how he wants things to build up. He has a big part in how the team's set up.
Indeed, he's like can be like a metronome. Just keeps everything moving, keeps moves ticking over. A little bit of stick to stick here, but running with it is Hayden Phillips.
This is dangerous, this.
Phillips has found a teammate, blocked with the pads, and that's a penalty corner.
Yeah, it's a similar thing really. That's been a save by Simon Hudgwan. He's kicked it onto his own player's foot, and that's how they got the first short corner. Robbie Gleeson onto Stephen Lawrence's foot in that situation. So something they've just got to take care of a bit, really.
That was a nice skill as well, drew the defender out. So at the moment, Muss's law says you should score from your third, or from at least once in every 3. So this is the second for Holcombe. It was charged down in the first instance. So what's the second one on offer? It went to Gleghorn before. Would you suggest going to Banderek?
Well, I think there's always a tendency to go for Mark Gleghorn when he's on, because he's so dominant and able with this. So I suspect they'll do the same again.
It is Banderek this time, low and in, and that is the equalising goal.
You're quite right, Andy. So you see that by changing that, they've given themselves a completely different angle, avoided the number 1 runner, and there's the equaliser. So sensible move from Holcombe.
Indeed, let's have a look at it again. It was the power was there, the direction was there, but where did the defence go? We'll have a look at it. So the player on the line, it was between the player on the line and the defender. Very well placed. It doesn't have to be the full power, but that was enough to get Holcombe on level terms. I
think that's part of the art of Nick Banderak. He's very good at spotting how to get the ball over the line. Doesn't necessarily have to be flashy all the time, just effective. Beeston will be sad about that, I think, because they've actually made saves from attacks but turned that onto their own player's foot twice, and that's resulted in the equaliser. And that is a bit of a risky pass.
That's this is usually in the moments where you'll see a team withdraw a little bit. Although that's a nice flick ball forward. This could work out well. It's going to be a Holcombe ball. For a moment there, Beeston thought they may have had that. Because
yeah, it was in the air, and I think because it came off Elliot Barton last, it was played into Barry Middleton, and that was deemed to be a foul. Here they are on the right-hand side again, so that'll lift their spirits a bit. I'm sure they'll be pushing for their second goal.
To the circle again, but it's fallen for Beeston this time. 1-1, 21.5 minutes played.
Corners are obviously going to be dangerous if they're given to Holcombe, so something Beeston needs to be really careful about.
This is promising. It's gone a long way. Is there a pass? There's a big shovel off the ball there, and an appeal towards
well,
I
just thought that was a push there. I saw that quite clearly, and I don't think the umpire was obviously watching that.
Now this is a break down the left-hand side for Holcombe. Into the circle they go. Happy to let that one drift. That was close to hitting the post.
Yes. You can never take your eye off the ball. It doesn't matter how the game is progressing or what's happening. You should always keep that focus, because the strangest things happen. And similarly, you know, again, we talk about the corners that Beeston have given away. Just a moment's concentration could have avoided at least one of those corners being given away.
Taken down in the air.
Nicely taken down by Morgan Males.
Yes. Trying to see a lot more when the two players who are close to a dropping aerial ball, and seeing how the decisions go.
Yes.
I'm trying to see how more often that goes. Into the circle, Beeston are again. Is this a shooting opportunity? It's very close. Great goalkeeping.
That was really good goalkeeping. I think that was a really close opportunity for Beeston. I think it might have been Toby Stanley again who was in there.
I wouldn't mind seeing that again, but probably at half-time, I think.
Yeah.
And that looked pretty much nailed on for a second Beeston goal. As we break off again. Played in, and that is a second for Holcombe.
Very good goal. Robert Field, I think, has scored that.
Indeed, 16, yeah. Robert Field on the reverse side.
Dangerous player himself. I mean, he had an excellent indoor season this year, and always dangerous, but the connections here very good. Nick Banderak there just finds his way between those two players. Barry Middleton, as ever, makes his connection. A reverse stick finish. 3 instances there where the player on the ball needed closing down a lot more quickly and strongly. How it all changes, Andy.
Indeed. I was saying that there won't be many chances, and there still haven't. I think there's only been 4 shots on goal. 2 of those were penalty corner attempts. Again,
another feature of the game of hockey, you can never afford to stand off a player who's got any kind of a shot, whatever angle he's facing. In that case, Robert Field is facing almost away from the goal. It was on his reverse stick, but he's quite capable of hitting that hard. Simon Hudgwan probably needs to get nearer to him.
He scored his last goal, Robert Field, was in the first minute against the Old Georgians. So, not unfamiliar with where the goal is, for sure.
No. Beeston having to do a lot of scramble defence at the moment. I think the organisation's gone a little bit out of the back four. Yeah, Stephen Wood shouting from the side. He's obviously trying to get a bit of organisation going from the side of the pitch as well.
Just mentioning the coaches as the ball's in the middle and there's a closing down happening. Stephen Wood is alongside Mark Wadsley are the coach for Beeston, with Graham Griffiths as the manager.
Yep.
For Holcombe, Neil Trusler is the team manager, and 2 head coaches, Andy Bray and Julian Halls.
Julian's been at Holcombe a long time now, so that's settled nicely. Long ball out again by Beeston. The target obviously being Chris Proctor, who's fairly secure on the ball nowadays. He's improved that part of his game no end. But it's what happens beyond that. And Holcombe again have been able to defend that well, and now just an easy build-up for them. Nick van der Rak again here. Just
can hear on the, certainly through the window here, just how the appeal that from the, I think that was Joe Sharp, who's
yes,
a few moments
was,
ago,
yeah.
just very unhappy. So it looks as if the umpire. All right, so the umpire has told everybody there was a bit of a timing error with the whistle, so we're going to have a bully for the ball. That's what is the outcome here.
Bit of confusion by the looks of it.
Indeed, definitely big chat happening. Clock continuing to run, by the way. I think we've got the clock stopped. Clock should be stopped, I think. Yeah. Ollie Willar's now given the benefit of his experience as well.
This is where you hope that the umpire's just giving easy messages to players so that they all know exactly where they stand.
I think, is Nick van der Rak going to play the ball back to Beeston,
so.
I think. Uncontested volley.
Well, seems a bit of an oddity, but
no.
There we
so
go.
far in the, well, the last 2 or 3 months, I've seen pretty much everything. The the missing 10% of stuff that you never get to see.
Yes.
It's very, very much filled in over the last 2 or 3 months or so.
Well, Beeston have got a bit of a battle now because, as you say, Andy, there's not been a hat load of chances for them. Their build-up play seems to be around the idea of trying to find Chris Proctor, and I think they need a bit more connecting play and variety. This is a little bit better.
There's options there, although it only finds a red stick. Appeal from the Holcombe defence. And Holcombe do have numbers here, and they progress quickly through the field. It's with Kieran O'Connor. O'Connor thinks he's found a foot, and he has. Morgan Mayall's penalised.
This is the danger of that kind of play by Beeston. There's an obvious need to get back into the game. They're big commitment players forward. You can see there 7 or 8 players in the D, all eliminated, and very easy for Holcombe to make a build-up here. Morgan Mayall's just trying to get his tackle in, but of course it's quite easy for a forward who knows what he's doing just to find a foot.
I'm hearing in my ear that could have been obstruction as well, so there's a couple of reasons that that could have been given.
You know, working back in defence like that, extremely difficult, and particularly when you've got players who are comfortable on the ball.
Interesting to note that the 2 players are most likely to receive have switched around this time. So Nick van der Rak is on the left, 23.
Yeah.
Mark Leghorn, number 7, towards the right. 6 players around the edge of the circle.
Designed to create maximum confusion. Who knows where the injection will go?
Leghorn to van der Rak, and that's a good save.
Yeah, I think that was an attempt to place it rather than absolutely fire it in, and that's given Simon Hudgman a little bit more time to see it. He's pulled off a good save. Bit too much dominance by Holcombe for my liking. Beeston need to possess this ball a bit more quality in their build-up.
What can Beeston do with this? There's an awful lot of red shirts in the way, but there is space on the left-hand side, and that's been found. And instantly, the space on the left-hand side is cleared up. Holcombe definitely have.
See, that's
been
where
the
you
better
want
team in the most in the last 10 minutes or so.
They have.
Sliding attempt to keep the ball in play. Was it kept in play? It's definitely out. No,
it stayed in. Yeah,
kept in. That's twice.
The diving play to keep the ball on the pitch. But that escape by Beeston prior to that happening, you need your forwards to get on the ball and possess it, because the turnover is always going to end up in your own D.
In towards the circle.
Good defence.
Holcombe seem to have about 24 in defence there, but course, they've only got 11, but the way that they're placed is so clever as well.
Yeah, they're
Defending
working
the
hard to
space.
get back into shape early.
Now what's happening here?
I think
Penalty
that is a
corner
corner,
for
yeah.
Beeston. Let's have a look at that again.
So when you are faced with a tight defence, Andy, I think you've got to be quite intricate and speedy, but there is always that chance from the defender's point of view that it finds its way onto a foot.
It's very, very close. Umpire very well positioned to see that. So let's see what they can do. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, this is the first opportunity of the game from a penalty corner.
Well, before the Christmas break, Adam Dixon put a couple of really good corners in, nicely
Indeed.
placed.
He's had, I think, 2 hat-tricks of penalty corners, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He certainly had a hat-trick against Brooklands, and he scored 2 against East Grinstead, and a penalty corner against Hampstead and Westminster. He scored 6 so far this season. He's definitely leading the way from the set piece.
It's all on the injection.
It'd be fair to say that's not worked. In towards the baseline, kept in play. It's out for a long corner.
I think that Adam picked that ball up pretty well off the trapper, but he just felt there was too much of a barrier in front of him. And after that, I think you'd say it was unscripted.
Yes, free form. And Holcombe
Yeah, now the drop-off factor here, Andy, very important. Beeston need to make sure that they're getting back into defensive shape quick.
You can see the effect on the wind of the masks as well. Holcombe extremely happy to run the clock down, approaching 3 minutes, or well, less than 3 minutes now until half-time.
Yes.
Yeah. And Holcombe has shown that they're the team with the ideas. Beeston need to pick up their ideas in the second half, I think.
They do, because I think the midfield work from Holcombe and the way in which they can create attacks is quite structured, and it would be if you've got the likes of Barry Middleton in there, but Beeston, if they get caught out and too many players eliminated, it's very difficult to keep your shape for defence, and Holcombe are exploiting that. Now that is a good
picked up, and Lucas Ward has run forward with the ball. That's 4 on 4 for a moment. Player goes to ground. Ball still live. 2 Holcombe defenders trying to beat each other for the ball there.
Good skills from Henry Croft, but didn't manage to create anything out of it.
It wouldn't be unfair to say that Holcombe have had the rub of the green in the last couple of minutes, but that's also not unfair to say that they have been the better team as well.
That's
right. So when you're
yeah.
on top, things tend to go for you.
And I think that play from Henry Croft's an interesting one, really. Forwards have to make decisions early, what's on for them and what they can get out of an attack. Henry's used skill to get past a couple of players. He's then got to think to himself, do I have a shot chance, or am I going to have to win a corner? And as it happened, he didn't have either there.
This could work out. There's a ball flung forward, and it's gone all the way through.
So again, feeding the D, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Forwards, who with 3 Beeston players there, probably didn't look quite ready enough for me, and the delivery of the ball was a bit in the air as well. Good pressure from Beeston, forcing Holcombe back out.
Less than 60 seconds to go until half-time. Long burst on the whistle. Attacking free hit for body contact is the reason I'm getting for that. And Holcombe, I'm sure, will maintain possession until the end of the half. There's huge amounts of space on the left-hand side, but they've gone through the middle. This was so close to connecting. Long corner.
Just shows sometimes just bobbling that ball into the D can be as difficult as any other kind of pass. Difficult for defenders to get hold of.
Advantage being played And that is a third for Holcombe on the stroke of half-time.
Really well fed into the D, and that's Harry Trussler.
Let's see the 10 seconds left on the clock.
Bad time to
Break
concede.
quickly
Yeah.
to the baseline. And
Easy,
then turned
just,
in
yeah,
by
low
Harry
stick from
Trussler.
Harry, just deflected it past Simon Hudjwan.
And there's no time to restart. It is Beeston 1, Holcombe 3 at the end of the first half here. So what do you make of that?
Well, we said, didn't we, Beeston scored in 6 minutes just as Brooklands did last weekend, and it's now 3-1, which is the same scoreline that that Holcombe had against Brooklands in that game. So the early good work by the back four for Beeston has slipped a bit, and they need to get back on song straight away in the second half.
Okay then, with your thoughts still ringing in their ears, the players are going off for half-time. We'll have the same idea. We'll go and have a warm drink and come back refreshed and ready for the second half. You're watching BeeTV. It's Beeston 1, Holcombe 3.
Hi, I'm Steve Parker from FHP Living, with the sales agents down here at Trent Basin, a stunning mixed development of apartments and quality homes set directly on the riverfront. If you'd like any more information or to arrange a viewing, please contact us at the office or have a look on our website.
When you succeed,
We succeed.
so we listen.
We tailor. And we invest in you.
We are innovators.
We deliver results.
And world-class service.
We are always developing you.
Learning and growing.
And getting better at what we do.
Supporting your business.
We make technology effortless.
And more than just a means to an end.
We're the team who serve.
And advise you.
All to help you achieve.
And surpass your goals.
We're super.
We're honest.
And go the extra mile.
We're winners.
And team players. And together,
We're the managed service provider.
We're Air IT.
We're Air IT.
we're Air IT.
You're number one for IT and comms.
I played at the highest level for Holland since I was 17. First you start as a talented little girl and just go and play, and now you really have to carry the team. A lot of the media, they always write things about you, but it's not important. I know what I can do, and the people that I really care about, they always believed in me, and I've always been a fighter. Even when you think you can't go anymore, you just keep on going because of your team. My position in the field is important, but without the others, I'm a no one. Speed is very important. There isn't room for error actually. It's just me, opponents and my teammates. You have to give it your all, no mercy. Every competition we play, you just want to win. When you step on the podium, it's just the best feeling in the world. It is hard to dare and dream about winning, but we know if we play well, we can beat anyone.
Welcome back to BeeTV. It's a blustery afternoon here at Nottingham Hockey Centre, and it's certainly gone the direction of Holcombe. Not necessarily the win, but the game so far. Holcombe 3, Beeston 1. It was a good start to the game for Beeston, but then Holcombe put their foot on the gas and scored with pretty much every presentable opportunity that they were given in the second portion of that first half.
Yeah, I think that goal just before the half-time break is a bit of a harsh one for Beeston to deal with. There's going to be a tall order to get back into this now, particularly as Beeston's style so far has been a little bit of pinpoint attacks only, where they're trying to find Chris Proctor high up the pitch. They could do with more possession in Holcombe's half, where they can build the opportunity to create goals and corners. So I think possession's a big feature for Beeston in this half, and dominating that midfield a bit more, because Holcombe have been coming through the midfield very easily.
Looks like Nick Banderek, number 23, was starting without his stick there. He was just hiding it very well. So this is BeeTV on a blustery Saturday afternoon. It is Premier Division hockey in England, and it's the 22nd of February 2020.
Yeah, we were talking before the game, Andy, about famous Beeston comebacks in the past.
Indeed,
and
yes.
whether they can have one here, I don't know. I mean, it's been quite controlled by Holcombe so far, I think, and there's not been that many opportunities for Beeston. So they're certainly going to have to increase their tally of 25 penetrations, deep penetrations, goal scoring opportunities, and penalty corners. Sounds a bit obvious, but those are the 4 parts of the attacking game that they've got to get better at.
Indeed, don't do that, don't win the game. It sounds like a simple recipe for success, and of course your opponent's not going to make it easy for you to do any of that.
Not at all. No, I mean, Holcombe now, to be fair, I don't think they will do this, but they could if they want, just sit on this and make life very difficult for Beeston.
Straight into Holcombe possession again. Beeston thought they were on the run. It wasn't to be.
I think it's one of the parts of the game they've got to, I'm sure they must have talked about this, each time that Beeston get that possession back, they need to make sure they're structuring 5, 6, 7 passes to get a decent phase of build-up. So far it's been quick turnover off maybe 2 or 3 passes only, and then you do a lot of chasing backwards when that happens. Holcombe making it difficult for Beeston players to receive the ball. That was good pressure on Chris Proctor.
Quick closing down out to Morgan Bales, whose ball is blocked by Tom O'Keefe.
And he's rushed his pass over the defending player that was too far away, and so had a lot of time to see the ball that Morgan was trying to make, the pass that he was trying to make.
Good step in.
Yep.
Morgan Bales leaving a little bit on his opposite number there, but we'll try and gloss over that.
It's a big lad, Morgan. He likes to lean in on players. But you don't like to look at the negatives, certainly from a coach's point of view, but you do have to think about those errors that creep in that cause you problems, and there's been too many easy turnovers from Beeston point of view, and another one just there. And of course, there we go again with a good opportunity for Holcombe, or a possible opportunity.
Here's Adam Dixon though, what can he do? He's found a teammate, working it quickly around the outside. This is promising. It's fired up, it's popped up in the air. There's a stick on the floor in the middle of all of that. It's been picked up, Beeston into the circle. Has that found a foot?
Just a long corner, I think, but this is the sort of start that you need to a half when you're 3-1 down. You've got to create opportunities quickly, but whilst being in control of everything.
Crunch ball forward, comes to nothing.
Yeah.
So quickly.
Not sure the hit was the right option there from Stephen Lawrence. He needed to be lower on the ball, good vision, and maybe slap past that in or make another connection.
That's gone a long way. It's been kept in play. And then flicked out of harm's way.
That's
Taken
quite nicely
down by
done.
Joe Sharp. Joe Sharp's done well. Hang on a second. Now, I've got Alex Blomfield is down here as number 12, but on the Altius,
yes.
Joe Sharp is number 12. So that is Joe Sharp, number 12.
Says, yeah.
There we go. So that's just a confirmation of what was going on. And that's a fourth for Holcombe. How quickly was that into the back of the net?
And that's Harry Trussler again. I mean, he's obviously making an art out of this reverse stick deflection, because that was better than the first one, to be fair, because that wasn't an easy one to get on the end of. But again, we talked about this right side attack from Holcombe, and very good indeed.
Brilliant.
He's just got that right.
Second of the game for Harry Trusler, having a very productive season in front of goal.
Do you know the annoying thing? I don't remember him doing that when he was at Beeston.
That's the third game this season he scored in. That's the first one he's got a brace in. So a mountain has appeared for Beeston to climb.
Definitely, it's and I think it shows how that controlled feed of the ball into the D, how dangerous that can be if everybody's switched onto it. Holcombe have done it well, and Beeston haven't been able to do the same thing in the Holcombe D. So, as you say, this would be a bit of a mountain to climb now.
So the team talk, which was ended about 5 minutes ago, has now probably had to be rewritten. And Beeston trying to ease their way back into the game, although this is starting to look more promising. Space.
Well, sometimes when you've got nothing to lose, you can actually start to play better. And I think, you know, if Beeston are going to get anywhere near getting back into this game, they've got to play with a bit of freedom. They've certainly got to attack the D hard and make sure that they get on the end of things. And they need to keep that energy level high and not let be dispirited.
For Beeston to come back into the game, they need Holcombe collectively to switch off. This is the first of those opportunities where they can get the ball into the circle, and they have done. Play on, says the umpire.
Yeah, nicely controlled defence, so no risk of a foot. You see, sometimes this can be as a result of that confidence factor. We talked about Holcombe having done well in the indoor, having won last week. Beeston straight back to it today, and I found it difficult after scoring early.
Adam Dixon wanting the ball for the long corner very quickly. And he's not getting it. It's now gone behind him. And sort of impetus has been lost there a tiny bit. Willard's ball forward has been blocked. He's looking to win the ball back again, but he's been bypassed.
Holcombe have done very well at getting low defensively. And you know, it's made it very difficult to actually get the ball into the D, let alone create anything once you're in there.
Joe Sharp in the number 12 shirt that says Blomfield on the back of it, doing very well.
Look at the position of the Holcombe defenders there. That is absolutely spot on. Hard for forwards to get in amongst the back four. And it's even harder to feed the ball through gaps. Decent effort from Robbie Gleeson, having to use a bit of individual skill to get past the player so he can open up a passing opportunity.
Talking about opening up, 7 points was the difference between the two sides at the end of last season's Premier Division. Hang on a second, is this going to be... It's been popped up and it's out of play. Holcombe sideline ball. Yes, 7 points the difference. Beeston finishing on 31 points last season, Holcombe finishing in 6 to 24. And it looks like, as things stand, Holcombe will be leapfrogging Beeston in the table. Sorry, Beeston were likely to leapfrog Holcombe. Holcombe would then go on to 19 points for the season.
It's extended their lead, yeah.
Knocking on the door of Old Georgians and Hampstead of Westminster. Maybe there's room for one more team to gate crash the top four.
Well, you sort of do hope that that will be the case. It's not ideal to have just a runaway four straight away. There needs to be some competition. The domestic league needs to be strong. It's important for the development of future players that the league's strong. And so you want some challenge from a fifth, sixth team.
Indeed.
To try and threaten those top four.
This also makes tomorrow even more of a must-watch.
Yes.
Because it's Beeston versus Exeter tomorrow here at about the same time, and that's followed up by the women hosting Bowdon tomorrow. So we've got a double header of matches tomorrow.
So you can see the difference there between a Beeston build-up on the right-hand side and a Holcombe one. The Holcombe tend to keep it flowing. Beeston end up a little bit static there, which allowed the defence to set. And of course Holcombe have then defended that quite nicely, and Beeston have to go again. Some players individually very good at possessing the ball and making sure that their pass happens. Others more prone to turnovers. You see that with experienced players who've seen it all and keep hold of the ball.
Now, that was very close to the edge of the circle.
Yeah.
Big appeals again for a free hit for Beeston, but they come to naught. And Holcombe press forward again. Van der Eyck into the circle. Will he get the give and go? Van der Eyck goes to ground. Hodgman kicks the ball out of danger. Play obviously continuing on. With the ball now, Henry Croft. And it's out towards the left-hand side. Self-pass very quickly towards the baseline, into the circle. Good showing this. Fired in at pace.
Yeah, good skills from Chris Proctor again, trying to do it as a lone player, hoping that that will lead to something. I mean, if they could get a second goal at this point, that might help them to move on a little bit, but not ideal in a way to have to try and get your goals in that manner.
The clock is stopped currently, but we're just not entirely sure why, to be honest. Just trying to... We are definitely up and running again, but the no goalkeeper substitution. Just, I do wonder why.
Not sure. So I think when you're in this kind of situation, from Beeston's point of view, you've got to have a strategy and decide on how you think you might get back into it. Beeston already have had 3 or 4 opportunities on the edge of Holcombe's D. Maybe it would have been good to try to come out of those with at least a corner. Always a fan of trying to score open play goals, and it's much more exciting to watch, but sometimes you've got to get a strategy in your mind.
Yes, where are those goals going to come from?
Yes.
And if they're not coming from open play, there are
got to
other
do
routes.
something else. Yeah.
That's a little bit of frustration coming out there. The diagonals were working. A tiny bit of miscontrol sees that fizzle out.
Yeah, Henry Croft having to make a very wide lead away from the goal. He was only ever going to pick it up coming back out of the D. So just again, not enough structure in the build-up.
Well in again from Louis.
Yeah, great opportunity to create a chance there, but it didn't come to anything. And here we go, Holcombe on the break again.
Good control this, really taking it to Beeston, crunched towards the goal.
Harry
Trussler,
Trussler
really.
hit again. He's obviously decided that's his role as a deflecting poacher in the D.
Minimal connection, maximum impact.
Yes. I have to say, I think Holcombe have been well structured around the pitch. You can see now their presses, they're getting in the way of the passing lines that Beeston may have, and that often is resulting in good turnover ball for them. Another one here.
So close. In fact, somebody was there on the very end of it and just couldn't get a connection to it. It was Hayden Phillips, I think. He was actually in the goal.
One of Holcombe's New Zealand players. Quite impressed with the way Holcombe are so close to every receiving player. That's obviously been worked on. There's hardly a metre between the receiving Beeston player and the defender, which allows him then to decide whether he can jab tackle or stand his ground and stop the player progressing forward.
Time stopped again here. Are we missing a ball? I think we are. And we'll be restarting from there. I'm not sure.
There we go.
We're off and underway. We've had 2 unusual stoppages
Weird
there.
restarts.
Like I said, this has been a couple of months where I have seen literally everything. And mopped up so importantly.
Look how high
here.
all the players
Could
are.
this be number 5? Oh, so close indeed. And close to it on the floor
Well,
was
Holcombe
Tom
were
O'Keefe.
disappointed with that because they got 3 players in perfect positions in the D, and they just didn't make that final connection. Almost indoor style of attack there, which of course they've done so well recently with.
Not that I'm pointing fingers here, but I think it shows you the importance of the indoors, because this is a team that's played over the winter and are still very sharp, and their close control has been excellent.
Definitely. I don't think there's any substitute for that other code of the game. I think it's great for individual skills, team connections, and the way that teams work together. Here we go.
That is another one for Beeston.
That's Toby Stanley again.
Second for Toby Stanley. And we've got a game on.
Well, it just shows the sense if you can get hold of that ball in the D and have a shot, anything can happen. And this is what Beeston have struggled to do. But the first time it's happened in this half, Toby's decided to hit it and it's beaten the keeper.
I think he'll be quite unhappy with that, Richard Curtis.
Yes. But again, I mean, it's ball fed in hard from the right-hand side, in that case a shot, and Beeston missed that as well. So here's a bit of movement through the midfield.
And look at this, and that's come to naught. The confidence level has just suddenly exploded for Beeston.
Yeah, it's just that little understanding. The pass there was misdirected, really. That comes with a lot of practice together, and of course this is where Beeston haven't had that opportunity, really.
Now, this is a different phase of Holcombe's game here. How do they respond to that? Do they continue to press, or do they shut up shop? Well, they are pressing at the moment. Goalkeeper comes and kicks the ball not very far at all, but it is out of harm's way now.
Just a little bit of hesitation in 2 or 3 players for Beeston there. It tells you a little bit about their confidence level.
Tom Moore got us going with a restart. Robert Field plays the ball into the circle. Defended right on the baseline. Lots of reds. And the ball has bounced out of play. We are less than 60 seconds away from 3/4 time, and I'd suggest the next 17.5 minutes will be a lot more interesting.
Well, the thing about quarters, if you know, it doesn't matter whether you like or dislike quarters, it does create these phases of play, and each quarter can be completely different, and that's what Beeston have got to hope for, that they can have a dominant last quarter here and get something out of it.
Hopefully this is going to be one of those famous commentary words, but do you think Beeston have got another 3 goals in the next 17.5 minutes?
Well, I don't want to be negative about it. I always think that hockey can throw that sort of a situation up, but Beeston have not had the best of build-up play, and that's always the thing you look for when you see how many chances they create. They've not been that many, so they're definitely going to need to increase that in that last quarter.
Indeed. Well, goals are there. Beeston are scoring goals, but can they get enough? 3/4 time is here.
Well, the key will be to get that 3rd goal for Beeston without conceding anything else, obviously. And then, because that just puts a little bit of doubt in the mind of Holcombe if they've been closed down quickly by 2 goals. You see Julian Hall's obviously looking to get the players together quickly. So he's already spotted there's a risk to them if they don't stay strong.
Yes, so the importance of good coaching. So Beeston 2, Holcombe 4 at the end of the 3rd quarter. Toby Stanley scoring first. Nick Banderak with a converting a penalty corner. Robert Field on 24, Trusler on 35 and 40. Toby Stanley replying again for Beeston. 17.5 minutes to go, where anything could happen. Talking about anything can happen, Wimbledon are 4-1 up at home against East Grinstead, and then they're only coming up to 30 minutes gone, so 5 goals already there. Still to come later tonight, Surbiton versus Old Georgians. That one starting at 4 p.m. in the women's fixtures. Had a couple of results from earlier on. Buckingham 2, Surbiton 5, Holcombe 1, Hampstead and Westminster 4. Big result towards the bottom of the table. Clifton Robinsons 1, Birmingham University 2. So that's 2 defeats in 2 weekends for Clifton Robinsons.
Yeah.
Not good news for them. Very good news for Birmingham University and Loughborough Students, Beeston 0-0. They're approaching the start of the fourth quarter. We're hearing keep the ball moving is the team talk for Beeston at the end of that half time.
Yes, yeah. And I think that's right, but I think the other part of that is maintaining the possession.
Just hearing information that the umpires' radios aren't working, which is, I think, the reason for those stop-starts for clocks.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens in the next 17.5 minutes. Clock running, Beeston 2, Holcombe 4. It's been a busy day's hockey, and there will be another busy day of hockey tomorrow as well.
There we
Got
go,
9 fixtures tomorrow.
Back on this right-hand side, got a little bit trapped. Now this is an opportunity, if they can do this, to get this out and round quickly. But Holcombe very wise to that, stop the transfer. They've stood between the two deeper players who would have passed that across the pitch. Beeston still in possession.
It's been a feature of the game, is the intelligent defence of space here. And turnover has been achieved. Holcombe have possession.
Yeah, the attempt there by Beeston to have a bit of build-up play with higher transfer work just fell to an error. Richard Lawrence's foot just turned the ball over to Holcombe.
That's completely down the wrong end of the field.
Oh yeah, it always seems
point of view.
Such a long way out from when you get sideline hits here. You just think, crikey, how far up the pitch is that going to get?
Invited a little bit
Very
of pressure.
Very difficult.
Holcombe really pressing to try and win the ball back. Dixon shields possession away. And it is through.
That is good.
And things are starting to open up here. Proctor fires it forward in towards the circle. It's been cut out neatly by Martin Robbins.
Very quick attack in the end. It did take him 30 seconds to get out of the corner. He can get pinned in there very easily.
Crunched into the circle. Shooting opportunity here.
And that must
and
be a
is
corner.
A penalty corner.
Probably sensible. I thought he was going to try and have a strike on the by turning and getting that strike off, but he's done well to get that corner.
Indeed, hitting a foot is the decision. So how many seconds was it from the sideline ball to the ball being turned over for a penalty corner? Less than 10.
8 seconds, I reckon that was.
So this is the speed, this is the timing, this is the impetus that the Beeston home side are looking to get. So can they make it 3-2 with this penalty corner? Muss's laws comes into play here because they've had 2.
2, yeah, that's right. They're going to need to improve their average and get this second one in. Is this their third one?
I think it's
number
third. 2. I think this is number 2.
Oh, number 2, yeah. So
if you're watching at home, do let us know as official BHC.
But there's a good time to score if Beeston can possibly do it.
Umpire having a check of the players on the line. Injecting is going to be Elliot Barton. Dixon, it's low, it's been blocked, it's still loose, and it's
Another
a repeat penalty corner.
Adam didn't really get hold of that, but I think the lack of speed caused Holcombe problems.
Yes, back stick apparently is the word closer to the field of play. Let's have a look at it. So Dixon, I think, wanted to give it the full beans, and it didn't work there. Good sprawling save from Richard Curtis, the tall guy. Dixon with another shot.
Yeah, nicely
Curtis
saved and taken
it.
away. Yeah. Bit more pressure from Beeston, and Holcombe trying to make sure they don't give anything else away. But with a 2-goal lead, you've just got to make sure you defend well and get out in control of the ball, which they've done.
With it, Tom O'Keefe plays the ball in. Now, 2 or 3 minutes ago, that would have still been in the circle with possession from Holcombe, but now Beeston have it. Things are starting to swing in their favour, but they've all got a lot of things to go right to get really back into this game.
Yeah, Holcombe's defensive cover there, again, pretty good.
Dixon's ball forward been cut out. It's all very untidy, but Beeston have the ball back. Can afford to push a few more forward.
We've seen Adam Dixon heading towards the D. There's an obvious intent to try to get right back in this game as quick as possible.
Indeed, the reward of getting that extra goal is worth the risk of conceding another. If you conceded another, that really is game. But if you're back to within one, nice control. Morgan Males picks up the ball on the left-hand side. 2 Beeston players on the left, and they have the free hit here. Males. Proctor looks up.
Space
what
there.
Can he do with it? Flicked into the circle, still carrying
That's a
on.
corner
Penalty
again.
Corner for Beeston. It's another foot that has been found.
Still a little bit haphazard in the build-up from Beeston, but at least it's paying off with the corners. This really is one they need to get. You know, they're looking at 12 minutes or so to the end of the game.
Well, it's a bit freestyle, it's a bit free form, but it's paying dividends at the moment. They, as you say, really need to convert this opportunity, and we will have a true grandstand finish. So, Dixon on the edge of the circle. How many players have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got Dixon, we've got Males. Joe Sharp's there as well. Plenty of options. Can they find a third? Males rips it. It's been blocked away. Play continues.
He's done well to stay on top of that. Good running work from the number 1 runner from Holcombe there. He's got right in the line of the attempted aerial flick. Controlled it well. But Beeston's done well to stay in control of the build-up play by winning the ball back.
Indeed, not letting the pressure drop here. Into the circle this time. Long corner. Well, this is a better spell than they've had in any other point in the game, including the time when they scored the first goal. Into the circle again once more. Umpire looks for any infringements, and there are none.
Holcombe still in a good position here, just having to do the defensive work. Beeston have got to put the pressure on to try to get anywhere near being back in the game. You sometimes look at these phases of play and say, I wonder why they weren't able to play like this in an earlier part of the game. But of course, it's what's happening in the match that dictates how players react.
Indeed.
That should be a Beeston.
It is
free
indeed.
Hit.
They're trying to take it quickly, and
That's
I think
a
that's a foot, and it is.
Benefits of a quick restart there. Holcombe have just lost that edge a little bit in terms of being prepared for these restarts.
So this is fascinating. It really is. So this third goal feels like it's coming. Now,
Yes.
What's happened here? Is this Beeston turning it on a bit, or is it Holcombe feeling we've got 4 goals and we can afford to step off a bit? Because I don't think that's happened.
Now, I think it's a few little signs there that by getting that second goal from Toby Stanley, Beeston feel that they can push for this. That's put a little bit of doubt in the mind of Holcombe, so the style of the game has changed a little bit. If it went to 4-3, that would happen yet again, and there's still enough time in the game, so this becomes quite an important corner for Beeston.
Okay, so we saw Males a few moments ago. Dixon is still hovering around the outside. It's Dixon this time, and it is there!
Now we do have an interesting 9 minutes, 8 minutes.
Adam Dixon with the goal. Another one to add to his collection. That's 7 penalty corners now. Let's have a look at this. He underhit one a few moments, a couple of occasions ago. This time, he really did connect with it well. Low and into the goal. I must say, though, I think it got a touch just in front of the goalkeeper. Yeah. Revising the goal scorer. I think it might be Elliot Barton.
Yes, yeah, he was certainly in there.
Game on.
Now, the key part of this, when you're chasing a game like this, is that your build-up play has got to be good on the ball from the Beeston players, and they have to connect because they want to be playing in the opposition's defensive 25. and they can't afford to turn it over high up the pitch. That's a pretty good effort by Procky, not quite outdoing Mark Leghorn. There we go.
You can see
Now
the belief coursing
yeah.
through the team in white. Beeston playing in white shirts today. Holcombe, they were 4-1 up, and it's now 4-3. I'm not trying to sell it to you. This is a fascinating final portion of the game.
It is. There's a good example. Adam Dixon on the ball, pass to Henry Croft. He lets it hit his foot. Doesn't help the team. He's got to be focused enough to keep that ball for himself.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, there was a 4-4 draw between these two sides in recent history. Am I imagining that?
I think there was, yes. Another example there. Joe Sharp. Ball easy pass to him and he's let it run off the side. These are the moments that matter.
Good interception and kept in play.
That's better.
Dixon receives it. Gleeson standing by. The coaching team in the grey Beeston coats are urging their players forward.
Holcombe doing well to cover that side of the pitch, and again just been missed by the Beeston receiving player. I think that was Robbie Gleeson.
Well, it's been a pleasure bringing you this game. Normally we do this a little bit earlier in the coverage. Who stood out for you? It could be a Beeston player, it could be a Holcombe player. Who has stood out for you? And we can nominate them, and you can nominate them for Player of the Match and take the Riley Wealth Management Player of the Match award. At official BHC on Twitter, who has stood out for you? It could be a Beeston player, it could be a Holcombe player. Choice is entirely yours.
See again, really looking closely at these passes that Beeston are making, and they're being intercepted because the pass quality is not good enough, and that's costly.
Control in the air. That's
Again, another one. Just
Tom Moore.
Too careless. That pass is just not strong enough.
And that's a penalty corner for the offence on Tom Moore outside of the circle.
You have to say that the run from Cruikshank's there out from Beeston's defence. He's made an extremely easy pass across the open stick of the Holcombe players there. Look at that, easy. So you don't like to focus too much on the errors, but that is a real coaching point for him. He's got to do better than that.
Clock continues to tick down, a shade over 5 minutes to go. Holcombe so successful so far with penalty corners. This could be the moment that seals the 3 points for the visitors.
Well, it'd be disappointing if that's the case, because with Beeston just giving themselves a few more minutes of attack, they could have got back into this. And if this goes against them, and of course the clock's ticking down as well, that would be disappointing.
Slow delivery, intricate, and then cleared off the line.
It's a stick save on the line from Robbie Gleeson, I think.
Right place, right time. So they survived. Long corner though to defend now. Played in very fast indeed, and then wide of the uprights.
That's a classic Nick Banderack type shot there. He's got the ball in the D, quick hands, just wide of the post. Now this is what we're talking about here, Andy. This build-up play, they've got to get to the dangerous parts of Holcombe's defence from this.
Fired into the air, bounces all the way through. So
Question that use of an aerial there. I'd rather have seen them build that maybe through the midfield.
Beeston have been very successful when the ball's been on the floor in the last couple of minutes.
Aerial out by Holcombe. It's not gone quite as far as I think they wanted it to. But Chris Proctor's come to fetch the ball, he feels, and he's got through as well.
He's done very well here, and he's laid it off, and it's just outside.
Shot just not ready for that.
The speed of the Holcombe attack is impressive. Ollie Willars, though, mops up in midfield, looks up and finds. And he can't make the pass, or the pass is intercepted.
I don't understand how you can be stood next to the player running with the ball and not be ready in case it comes to you, and that was Joe Sharp's error there, but Beeston back on the attack again.
He's going through the gears nicely here, swept out to the left-hand side and just beyond the edge of the stick. We've had 7 goals here. We've got 180 seconds left to play. Are we going to get an 8th?
Very difficult for Lucas Ward to pick up that pass from Henry Croft. And now we're down, right back down the other end.
Long corner. The right and professional thing to do here is take as long as you need. But Holcombe do get on with it. Ali Bray's ball into the circle. Banderak was shaping to shoot there. Has the ball taken off him. Sideline ball. 2 minutes or so to play.
You're relatively happy in that position. You can see he's intent on staying there as long as he can.
Yes, this is the professional approach. This is another Holcombe ball right in the corner. And Beeston trying to win the ball back there. So, sensibly, would it be clever from a Beeston perspective to let him have as much space as he can? Or would when they raced in to try and pick the ball off him, is that the right?
I think they've got to get it back, because if he's got all the space to stay on the ball, that's probably what he will do. And again, I'm just sort of a little bit critical of Beeston's outletting here, because it's not been good enough, and it's led to too many turnovers when they could do with holding that ball and building another attack.
90 seconds left. One more attack, surely, in the game.
Urgency now, because there's only one place for that ball to be.
Dixon has to go back, but maintains possession. You can see away from camera there's an awful lot of white shirts towards the attacking goal.
Whole defence, whole Holcombe side back in defence there.
Wales, first time ball forward. Proctor.
He's put it in the deep. Nobody near that receiving defender.
Oh, incredibly well defended under pressure, and that's come off a Beeston foot.
Very good.
I think
well
that
done, Holcombe.
Probably is it. Flick ball towards the right sideline. Louis Dupreez. Ball hits the chapel here.
Well, we said there have been close score lines, and that's proven to be the case again, although I think the game got away from Beeston at just before the half-time break with Harry Trussell's deflected goal. One chance, maybe one chance.
10 seconds to go. This is going to be very tight, and it's been turned over, and that surely is 3 points.
Not good enough for Lucas Ward, unfortunate, but that's the result.
It is indeed. Beeston 3, Holcombe 4, 3 points for Holcombe. A very, very entertaining game indeed.
Definitely.
Let's bring you the detail. Toby Stanley scoring first for Beeston in the 6th minute. Nick Banderak equalising on 20 from a penalty corner. Robert Field giving Holcombe the advantage on 24, and right on the stroke of half-time, Harry Trussell from close range made it 3. Same player again, made it 4, and we all thought it's Holcombe's day for sure here. Beeston, though, coming back into it through Henry Croft, and then Adam Dixon credited with the goal officially.
Yeah.
However, it could be Elliot Barton, because he was close to getting a touch on it.
Yes,
so
that's right.
That may change Adam Dixon.
Yes.
So we will see. Beeston 3, Holcombe 4, match complete on your screen. Elsewhere in the men's Premier Division, they're into the 3rd quarter. Wimbledon 5, East Grinstead 1. As you can see, Beeston 3, Holcombe 4, Hampstead and Westminster 5, Reading 0, Brooklands Manchester University 2, Exeter University 3. So at the bottom of the table, looking upwards, Reading are bottom with 6 points from their 14 games. Brooklands Manchester University 9th on 9. University of Exeter, tomorrow's visitors here in the men's Premier Division to Beeston, now up to 11 points. From their point of view, a win tomorrow would put them level on points with Beeston. East Grinstead on 7 with 7th place with 14. Beeston in 14 points as well. Holcombe into 5th with 16. So they're potentially making their way back towards the top 4. In the women's competition, quickly time to look at that. All eyes on the game at the bottom of your screen. Loughborough Students versus Beeston. It's Loughborough Students that have the win. Very, very important from their point of view. It puts them on to 17 and outside bet for the playoffs. Beeston disappointed. I wonder if we can have a look at the detail on that in a moment. Clifton Robinson's 1, Birmingham University 2. That detail coming up here. How late was the goal? Lucy Millington's goal was a penalty stroke. That's how close it was on 63 minutes. So it is a win for Loughborough Students against the women of Beeston. Back tomorrow here on BeeTV. It's the University of Exeter at home versus the men, and it is Bowdon versus the women here at BeeTV at Nottingham Hockey Centre. Muss, who stood out for you? Who was your player of the match?
Well, I thought that Harry Truster's goals were a feature for Holcombe, without a doubt. I think that without those, it would have been a very close game, and he did very well to get on those, so I thought that he played very well indeed for me.
Okay then, so without further ado, one more quick shout about the Masters World Cup if we can. That's coming up here in Nottingham from the 8th to the 17th of August 2020. The over 30s and over 40s Masters World Cup is here. Come down and visit, get your tickets and get more information. Head over to masters2020.hockey. One more time, that's masters2020.hockey. And from all of us here at BeeTV, it's been a pleasure keeping you company in what's been a fascinating game in the Premier Division. It's finished on BeeTV. Beeston 3, Holcombe 4. Until next time, goodbye. But when we get to quarter time.
Just see 2 Beeston forwards there. The ball played nicely through. It was a nice release from the back. So important for forwards to get on the ball, make sure they retain it.
Being kept in at the baseline. Penalty. Nice interception in the middle of the field and played forward, and things can open up here quickly. Into the circle. A bit of a stumble, but play carries on. Goalkeeper comes out and it's into the goal.
Excellent
Toby
follow-up.
Stanley for Beeston. We've got our first goal in less than 5 completed.
Well, he was a younger guy. He was more of a forward, but he's settled into these defensive roles quite well.
He picked up a... Let's just break off again. That's into the circle. Can this be fashioned into a shooting opportunity? It's been blocked well.
Simon Hudge ran alert to that.
Indeed, he's like can be like a metronome. Just keeps everything moving, keeps moves ticking over. A little bit of stick to stick here, but running with it is Hayden Phillips.
It's dangerous, this. Phillips
has found a teammate. Blocked with the pads, and that's a penalty corner.
Yeah, it's a similar thing, really. That's been a well, I think there's always a tendency to go for Mark Glencoe when he's on because he's so dominant and able with this. So I suspect they'll do the same again.
It is Banderak this time, low and in, and that is the equalising goal.
You're quite right, Andy. So you see that by changing that, they've given themselves a
21.5 minutes played.
Corners are obviously going to be dangerous if they're given to Holcombe, so something Beeston needs to be really careful about.
This is promising. It's gone a long way. Is there a pass? There's a big shovel off the ball there, and an appeal towards the near when the 2 players who are close to a dropping aerial ball, and seeing how the decisions go.
Yes.
I'm trying to see how more often that goes. Into the circle, Beeston are again. Is this a shooting opportunity? It's very close. Great goalkeeping.
That was really good goalkeeping. I think that was a really close opportunity.
I wouldn't mind seeing that again, but probably at half time, I think.
Yeah.
That looked pretty much nailed on for a second Beeston goal as we break off again. Played in, and that is a second for Holcombe.
Very good goal. Robert Field, I think.
Options there, although it only finds a red stick. Appeal from the Holcombe defence. And Holcombe do have numbers here, and they progress quickly through the field. It's with Kieran O'Connor. O'Connor thinks he's found a foot, and he has. Morgan Mayall's penalised.
This is the danger of that. Bobbling that ball into the D can be as difficult as any other kind of pass. Difficult for defenders to get hold of.
Advantage being played. And that is a third for Holcombe on the stroke of half-time.
Really?
Yes. Joe Sharp is number 12. So that is Joe Sharp, number 12. There we go. So that's just a confirmation of what was going on. And that's a fourth for Holcombe. How quickly was that into the back of the net?
And that's Harry Trussler again. I mean, he's obviously for that other code of the game. I think it's great for individual skills, team connections, and the way that teams work together. Here we go.
That is another one for Beeston.
That's Toby Stanley again.
Second for Toby Stanley.
Able to play like this in an earlier part of the game, but of course it's what's happening in the match that dictates how players react.
Indeed.
That should be a Beeston.
It is
free
indeed.
Hit.
They're trying to take it quickly, and
That's
I think
a foot.
that's a foot, and it is.
Benefits of a quick restart there. Holcombe have just lost that edge a little bit enough time in the game, so this becomes quite an important corner for Beeston.
Okay, so we saw Males a few moments ago. Dixon is still hovering around the outside. It's Dixon this time. And it is there!
Now we do have an interesting 9 minutes, 8 minutes.
Adam Dixon with the goal. Control in the air. That's
Again, another one.
Off.
Just
Tom Moore.
Too careless. That pass is just not strong enough.
And that's a penalty corner for the offence on Tom Moore outside of the circle.